Hello, everybody. My name is Haster, and I was outside working in my garage, and I was just scrolling through YouTube on my other channel, which you will never hear of, and I listened to a guy. His name is Heavy Duty Country. I, for the most part, like his content. Granted, I've gone away from it for a little bit just because it didn't pop up on my feed much, which probably is due to YouTube, but that's neither here nor there. Um, what did pop up was an interesting little video titled "They Crossed the Line." ... Is this the start of a nuclear conflict? And uh, I did watch this. I did. I won't deny that I didn't, or I won't deny that I did, and claim that I did not. But before I begin to really talk about this video, I do want to preface with I do not think he is dumb. I do not think by any means that he is, like, doing this in bad faith. But, that being said, I do think that he is very... I don't want to say uneducated, because that's poor framing, but I do think that he is missing important information related to what he is talking about here. And why are my lips... Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, good enough. And I do think that he is missing a certain level of context that would make a lot of what he's talking about make sense to him. And that's not, once again, it's not an indictment on him. It is what it is. So, a critique, if you will, on what Heavy Duty Country has to say.
Everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's better than the Middle East right now, because it seems like
Everyone's better than the Middle East right now, let's be frank.
it's just gone to hell in a handbasket. But I think the question has to be asked, what are we doing? Does anyone have a good answer? So I'm going to give everybody some background right now.
We're winning. We are winning without having to obliterate an entire people. We're winning by saying, hey, do this or else. And they're doing this part of that equation.
Now, so people can understand this better. So Israel and Hezbollah have been at odds for a long time. And for those of you who don't know, Mossad set up an operation to where they sold Hezbollah a bunch of walkie-talkies with explosives in them. They set up shell corporations. They set up a whole bunch of dummy companies to where looked like they were buying pagers or walkie-talkies from a random company. They set them up all over the place. It was a very high-end operation. And then their military units stopped using walkie-talkies and they started to use beepers, which is kind of fucking gay. I don't know any military organization who wants to walk around with beepers on their hip. Like, I don't know, they work a white-collar weird job.
I heard someone say once that the reason why was it's like receive only. Like you can't really always send something on a pager. So you can just like send out a real quick blip of like information. And then like you're not going to be able to figure out necessarily where that went. Like, what's a good way to put it? Yeah, just you hear a shout in a valley. You don't know where in the valley the shout came from, but you know that there was someone shouting down there. Like that's kind of what it is.
Then what they did is they set up more companies to sell Hezbollah pagers. And randomly one day they set them all off. And that's when all of Hezbollah's huge military personnel died. Video all over the place of it.
The fact that they didn't play Havana Gila on the pagers before they went off is wildly disappointing. A missed opportunity.
Now what's happening is Israel is attacking Lebanon because...
No, they're attacking specifically the terrorist organizations in Lebanon, not Lebanon itself. In fact, actually, Lebanon's government has said, hey, keep up the good work. We can't really get rid of these guys because they keep evading us. So If you could, keep it up.
Hezbollah is apparently operational again. Here's what it
They were never not operational. They just kind of disappear.
says Israel seeks to control the territory south of the Litani River, which is roughly 20 miles north of the border, to protect its northern communities from direct rocket attacks. They aim to break the support loop between Hezbollah, Hamas, and Iran, aiming to weaken the Iranian proxy. The current intensive phase began after Hezbollah fired rockets into Israel and
I don't know where he's getting this, by the way. He doesn't have it in his description. So I'm going to take everything that he says here with the expectation that it is accurate.
response
You can take it with a grain of salt if you want.
to the assassination of Iranian officials. So, folks, remember why we've been told we're in this war right now. It's
That's a little bit of a framing bias. We've been told. It implies that there is something nefarious or something that we are not being told.
because of Iran and potential nuclear capability. That's what we've been told. That's what Trump said. That's what the motivation is, apparently.
It's also what Congress kind of confirmed. I showed it in a previous video, but the long and short of it is, in combination with them enriching uranium, them saying that they are going to make nuclear weapons, and them having a space program that they've been working on within the next, memory serves as to what I read, like 5 to 10 years, they would realistically have like intercontinental ballistic missile with nuclear capacity, like the capacity to make those sorts of things. And I'm just saying, they've been saying that they're working towards it. We have intelligence officers that are saying they're working towards it. We have other countries' intelligence officers saying they're working towards it. We have other countries that don't really like us necessarily saying that they're working towards it. So it's more than just Trump said this and this is what we've been told. It's literally everyone is saying this, including the people that, we're saying are doing this. Like even Iran said it. So framing.
Now we have switched from we just don't want to be nuked to now we want to control more land. Now we
Ah, when did we do that? Here, let me rewind a little bit. Because, no, we haven't swapped from that.
Trump said that's what the motivation is, apparently. Now we have switched from we just don't want to be nuked to now we want to control more land. Now,
And it's not that well, yes, we don't want to be nuked, of course, but it's we can't let them have a nuke because they're going to use it on everyone, us included. It's a little bit more than that. And the fact that we can't just leave them to their own vices means that we do need to take somewhat of a control. We don't necessarily need to become lord of the land, but we just, need to keep them from being able to do anything to create those kinds of weapons, which is kind of what we've been doing.
we want to control certain parts of Lebanon. When does it stop? My
We want to get rid of the terrorists in Lebanon. We don't want to control Lebanon. Even Lebanon said, "Yo, get these guys out of here." Like we're basically doing well, we're not doing anything. Israel is currently doing it, but that's because Hezbollah keeps flinging missiles into Israel through like off of Lebanon land. It that's kind of what's been happening. It's been happening for the past ever, basically. So missing a bit of context here. Either that or it's poor framing. I'm gonna go with just missing context.
issue has always been when women and children who are innocent are being killed in mass numbers, we have to ask ourselves, what are we supporting? Because my support does not have no limits. I care about humanity. I'm a Christian through and through. If you are attacking women and children for no fucking reason, it's a problem. So I'm going to go through some of the
This is a consistent thing. I don't know if you, the viewer, have watched his stuff before, but that is a consistent like line in the sand that he does not cross. So he is being honest here. That being said, he is using that once again to kind of frame what he's going to say next.
This footage because there are bombs being dropped in Beirut. Beirut, I don't know if y'all remember, but there was a huge explosion there. Somebody was keeping fireworks in some fucking warehouse and huge bomb went off. And now
Ammonium nitrate. It was fertilizer, not fireworks. I semantic difference. It big boom went boom boom. Big whoop.
civilians are being killed in mass numbers. So the stuff I'm about to show, it's pretty brutal. And ultimately what I want people to do is look inside yourselves and figure out if this is truly what you would do. Because once again, we're going from we just don't want them to have nukes to we want to control this little piece of land and there's some small militant organization that is ultimately almost no threat if your military is on point. And now we're just carpet bombing again. Folks, that's an apartment building. It's not a military outfit. Whole bunch of people literally watching this. Probably families in there. What is the reason for bombing that? We live in 20.
That's speculating. You're assuming that there are families in there, which, fun fact, if granted, I don't expect him to necessarily look into every single aspect. But fun fact, Israel is one of very few countries who have gone the extra mile of basically handing out pamphlets before they strike somewhere saying, hey, we're going to create a boom boom here. Get your civilians out of here. Like the UAE, who don't really like Israel, has confirmed this. I want to say Saudi Arabia did too, but I don't know that for sure. And oh no, an apartment building. It's bad, don't get me wrong. That being said, though, acting as though this isn't some military target. No, 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 no. Hezbollah and the similar ilk when it comes to terrorism, they will use anywhere they can get a hold of. They will do whatever they can in order to make something that isn't military military. There are countless instances of them going into schools, taking over the schools, and then basically saying, "Oh my gosh, how could you possibly target a school on a weekend when, they've been in the school?" Just because it's an apartment building doesn't magically mean that, oh, it's off limits. Now, I would hope that, they did what they have been cited doing previously, which is saying, "Hey, yo, get the hell out of here if you're a civilian," which is kind of silly. And it's good on a humanitarian standpoint. It's silly on a military standpoint because, one civilian leaving, one of the terrorists says, "Hey, what are you doing? We're getting the hell out of here. This place is about to explode." Well, the terrorist is going to get the hell out of there too. So the anyway, I'm getting off topic. I'm rambling. The argument that, oh my gosh, this is absolutely horrible. Yeah, it sucks that people lost their home. Don't get me wrong. But saying, how could you possibly do this? How could you ever think of this? No, it's very simple. Hezbollah uses apartment buildings, they use schools, they use hospitals, they'll even use subways and shit. Also, that when you have to attack them eventually, because they'll just walk out like 3 steps, fire a rocket, walk back inside. There's videos of this. Once you finally say, okay, enough's enough, we're gonna do a boom boom, and you blow it up, all of a sudden you're the bad guy. And I think he's kind of falling for that. Which I don't think he's stupid, don't get me wrong. I think though that he is very concerned and that concern is clouding his mm, more third party judgment, like the detached judgment.
26. So the weapons that are being used, they can be directed pretty much anywhere. What is the reason why that target was hit? If anybody can provide me a legitimate explanation, that would be great.
Hezbollah uses places including apartment buildings, schools, hospitals, and subways, for instance, things that are commonly associated with the civilians in order to facilitate their own terroristic militant actions. It is quite possible that they were inside of that building and it was easier to go kaboom, assuming once again that Israel did what they've been claimed to do by adversarial nations to Israel, even went in, hopefully handed out pamphlets saying, hey, get the hell out of here. You got 24 hours. And they wiped it out. I mean, there's fairly good reasons. Multiple. I mean, if if the Iraq War wasn't a good example of what they'll do, terrorist organizations like this, then I don't know what would be a good example.
Because this is absolutely sick. All right.
What was that? Let me read it.
This is
Israel launches at least 10 strikes against Beirut. The blank says Lebanon is not part of the 2-week ceasefire. It's not. The blank. Put that again. Blank. And I can't read that enough to figure out what it's trying to say.
absolutely sick. All right, folks, everybody's focused on how the
Oh.
Middle East.
Boo, hiss. Hiss. Where is it? There it is. Sorry. Ad skip.
There's going to.
Here. I am not endorsing this. He does, though, so. Yeah, go for it if you want to give it a shot. I'm not endorsing this. This is not my endorsement, but I'm not going to deprive him of of his own endorsement.
Going to be a link below the video. Go make sure you're prepared, folks. Here's another one. هلا الموتوسيكلين بيقطعوا البنات لك بدوزهم تظبيطه طلع هلا لا لا يا امام علي
I want you to pay attention on how he didn't show it, like not exactly the title, but the post above it previously, and now he's showing it here. Once again, this is framing.
Folks, I think this is pretty simple. I think anybody on earth has the right to self-defense. If you're being attacked, you have full God-given authority to defend yourself. In fact, you were called to, because that's called respect for self. But this, like, what the fuck are we doing?
Israel is defending itself. Fun fact, and I didn't really believe this at first until I actually kind of looked into it. I have yet to find, I shit you not, I have yet to find a war that Israel directly started. I've seen them kind of, try to start wars that ended up not really doing anything. But any war that they have been really, drug into, any real war that they've been a part of, they've either been drug into it by an outside nation or they were aggressed upon by an outside nation. Fun fact, once again, Hezbollah has been attacking Israel since the beginning of fucking ever. So, yes, I agree right here. Everyone does have the right to self-defense. Israel is trying to deal with the people who are aggressing upon them. And quite frankly, they're doing it the safest way for Israel that they can.
If you want Hezbollah drowned out, have Mossad set up another operation. Send in a team of guys that can take them out. It's not that.
Why would they send in their own people when they can just send one little oopsie poopsie, fun missile and have a quick little light show for all of them? It's very bright and very loud, but hey, it's a party to die for.
That difficult.
Yeah, why would they redo the pager thing? It's not gonna work again.
It's not, especially when you have the capability that we have. But just sending F-35s over.
So wait a minute. So now we as America need to help Israel in this? Like that's a little silly in my opinion. I understand he's trying to say, we as in the modern world, at least I hope that's what he's going for. I understand that, it's the modern age. You can do plenty of things, but I don't know, man. Why would we help them necessarily?
And just bombing whatever the fuck. It's evil. It's fucking evil. There's more. Look at how big this city is. That's comparable to like New York City right there. How
If New York was made of exclusively like drywall, maybe. It's a big city, sure. I wouldn't necessarily say it's comparable to New York. Mostly because what? Those buildings are assuming 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish stories tall. Wow. What about some of the ones in the back? I can't really guesstimate from those. So, no, no. I'll give you maybe, I don't know, Denver. Mm.
how would we feel if there was some, I don't know, group of maybe 5,000 terrorists in New York?
Hang on here, let me rewind.
That's comparable to like New York City right there. How would we feel if there was some, I don't know, group of maybe 5,000 terrorists in New York and a country was like, you know what? Instead of just taking all of them out, modern warfare, we're just gonna fucking bomb everything. All the skyscrapers, everything involved, we're just gonna bomb it all because we can't find them or we're too lazy or we don't wanna send in a team. And tough shit to everybody who's innocent there. Tough shit to everybody who is a child or a woman or even in.
Once again, framing. If we had 5,000 people, well, to begin with, a little bit of a false equivalency here. He's equating what would happen if it were in America versus what would happen if it were out there. Out there, when it comes to those terrorist organizations, they hold a massive sway. In reality, it would be better to equate it to like the cartel. Like the cartel holds a massive amount of power over what happens in Mexico. Same goes with those terrorist organizations. If you had 5,000 cartel members in, say, Tijuana or something along those lines, a fairly, well, I believe Tijuana is a large city. Tijuana? 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 Tijuana city size. Unless I'm thinking of the wrong name. Tijuana covers a city of about 246 square miles with a density of approximately, why would I want to do that math? Just tell me okay, 2.15 million, all right? You have a large business sized aspect of a cartel in a fairly large city and a place that they relatively control. You can't necessarily just send in military to do something about it. They have the advantage. They have control over the people. They have control over what the people can and cannot do. The people aren't going to have weapons because why would the cartel let the people have weapons? Because unfortunately, America is the only place that is, well, America's government is the only one that was silly enough, and by that I mean the founding fathers were smart enough to realize that the government would be evil enough to abuse its citizens. So, using the American frame of mind, it doesn't really work here. assuming that it would happen in America, it doesn't really work here. If you equate it to a place where something like this would be more reasonable of a situation, like, once again, using Tijuana in Mexico with cartel, if you were to try to send in military people into Tijuana, they have the advantage. They can shoot you from the rooftops, they can shoot you from the windows, they can shoot you from the streets, they can shoot you from basically the sewer drains, even. Like, you do not have the advantage. It would be Vietnam 2 Concrete Jungle Boogaloo.
An innocent man just killing shit. And the question will always be, why? Is the moral code that
They fling bombs into country. Not their country, other country. They get the shit that they throw back at them. There. And that's basically what's been happening.
bad over there? Is the moral code that if you were attacked, there is no end to what you will serve back? Is the moral
Yes. Yes. That's literally it. Eye for an eye makes the whole world blind comes from somewhere. Specifically, the Middle East.
code, if you were attacked, you will literally take down an entire city just to prove a point? We got it. We got the point. You will destroy anything in your path.
He said he was a Christian man. I believe he said it earlier. I might be thinking of another video. Yes, that is in the Quran. That is also in the Bible. That's yes, yes. There's no two ways around it.
Path. Is that really a good precedent we want to set for the world? Is that really a good precedent we want to set for someone who is our ally?
If they really wanted to obliterate the entire city, Israel has the capacity to do it. They do. Israel has nuclear weapons. If they wanted to just obliterate a city, they could. And once again, I'm not just saying this to shit on heavy duty country. I'm not doing that. I am, however, being critical of him for this because I think to an extent he's letting his frustration and his anger cloud his judgment, and that clouded judgment to a audience of almost 1 million people. You need to at least hold yourself to the standard. And I know in the past I have said, it just because it's a large creator, him saying it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't. If this were a smaller creator and I saw this, I would still hold them to the same standard. That being said, I haven't seen a smaller creator doing this. And if I made a video for every small creator, I would not have the time. That being said, I can make time for something like this because I know him well enough that I know that he is wise enough to be able to see around this if he knew a little bit more. But I'm getting off topic.
Lebanon. And of course, attacks have continued there. Yesterday was the deadliest day in attacks that we've seen in the latest Israel Hezbollah war. You're one of the few Jewish members of Congress, staunch supporter of Israel, its right to defend itself, of course. Do you support their continued deadly strikes on Lebanon and their argument that the ceasefire doesn't apply there? And do you think it risks a fracture with the White House during this war?
There's a lot of questions there. The key question is, does it risk a fracture with the White House? I would say no. The president has been very clear. The ceasefire with Iran did not include Hezbollah. So no.
Correction. It didn't include Lebanon. technically, no, it didn't include Hezbollah either, but it is worth specifying that it didn't include what happens in Lebanon. It included a bunch of other places in the Middle East. It didn't include Lebanon. Why didn't it include Lebanon? Probably because Israel's like, hey, these guys are still gonna fling shit into our country. They've been doing it for a long time. Can we fucking deal with it? Which, if you want to make the argument, oh, the Jews control Trump, fuck you. That's dumb. But you know what? This one time, sure.
No, I don't think it fractures that at all. But Israel is not attacking Lebanon. Israel is attacking Hezbollah. And Lebanon had an obligation to deal with
Jesus.
Hezbollah, to control them, and
What
to
a
stop them
dumbass.
from firing.
What about that is him being a dumbass? Like, they aren't didn't the ceasefire didn't include Lebanon because Lebanon still has Hezbollah, right? Lebanon couldn't get rid of Hezbollah. Lebanon has been actively against Hezbollah. Israel wants to get rid of Hezbollah because Hezbollah has been flinging bombs into Israel. Israel isn't fighting Lebanon, they're fighting they're not Houthis. They're fighting Hezbollah in Lebanon. By keeping Lebanon out of the peace agreement, they're able to continue fighting them in Lebanon. So, stupid son of a. Like, what? Ooh, he's stupid. No. It's them, yes, playing semantic games, but, semantics are how you win.
Israel is not attacking Lebanon. Israel is attacking Hezbollah. And Lebanon had an obligation to deal with
Jesus.
Hezbollah, to control them, and
What
to
a
stop them
dumbass.
from firing rockets at Israel, which, by the way, includes 700,000 Americans. Lebanon has failed
Yeah, that too.
to do that. Hezbollah has failed to disarm. And so Israel is doing what is necessary to not only protect Israelis, but the Americans who live there.
Looking ahead.
All right, folks. So I'm going to throw some
Yeah, what a dumbass. What a dumbass.
numbers before I finish here because I think people need to understand what is happening here. 30 to 34% of Lebanon's population is Christian. 30 to 34%. Meanwhile, Hezbollah has 50,000 active soldiers there. 50,000. Why not send in a group and
Wait a minute, that's more than the 5,000 you mentioned earlier. Wait a minute.
kill them all? Instead, we're just killing 1,000%. Meanwhile, Hezbollah has 50,000 active soldiers there. 50,000. Why not send in a group and kill them all? Instead,
You ever heard of Vietnam? It was a shit show. Just some silly little Asian people in a jungle. What could they do? And it was one of the dumbest wars in the end. Just saying. Vietnam 2 Concrete Jungle Boogaloo doesn't exactly sound very pleasant. But, of course, we can only send in our own troops because, instead of being smart and saving our own people, or rather, Israel saving their own people, I'm speaking like America's going to go to it. Yeah, right. But, instead of Israel sending in their own people to walk basically into their deaths, no, we can't send a bomb, can't send a drone. No, no. We have to make sure that we send people. Or rather, once again, Israel has to.
we're just killing shit to kill shit. And we've
That's why that kind of is what a bomb does. I mean, the sentiment would be the same if we just sent in people to kill them too. We'd be killing people to kill them. That's kind of the point of killing someone.
got this guy just completely brainwashed saying, hey, look, they're not attacking Lebanon. They're attacking Hezbollah. Well, no, dumbass. They're literally bombing buildings.
If you were to have 5,000 people in New York and you sent in people into New York? Would you be fighting New York? No. Let's say the only way to properly deal with, let's say, 5,000 people was to blow up one building. Would you be fighting New York? No. This is a very stupid, faulty analogy here. And I'm not saying he's stupid, but this is a very dumb take.
That's not Hezbollah. Sure, there may be Hezbollah in those buildings, maybe a few fighters, but there's also a lot of innocent people in there. It is a huge fucking city. And ultimately,
and once again, Hezbollah will go into hospitals, they will go into schools, they will go into apartment buildings, and they will basically take 2 steps out, fling a rocket, and take 2 steps back in. But, oh no, we couldn't possibly hit the building. Granted, only one person in there might not be Hezbollah. But we can't do it because it's an apartment building. Oh, we can't do that because it's a school. As long as we are absolutely careful, or rather, as long as they, Israel, are absolutely careful. Sorry, I'm still thinking about the Obama days where we, accidentally blew up a cafe because it was on the other side of a target. For Americans. But I'm getting off topic. This. Oh.
all this is it's preemptive. It's preemptive. They call it preemptive self-defense.
No, it's reactive. They don't call it preemptive. I mean, America calls it preemptive mostly because Iran has said, hey, we're going to nuke you when we get one. Aye. But no, when it comes to Israel and Hezbollah, it's not preemptive. Israel is reactive. There's a very big difference here. This is just wrong.
Defense. Oh, well, we think they're going to do something to us. Okay, well, let's take.
If I said, I'm going to tickle your balls, would you expect me to, be a perfectly normal and rational human who is not going to tickle your balls? I said I'm going to tickle your balls. I said it multiple times. And you've caught me reaching towards your balls to tickle them. Every time you catch me, I go, hey, I'm just joking. You can't hate me. I'm just a silly little black and yellow guy on the internet. You can't be mad at me, right? No, it's once again, this is stupid. It's not. They haven't said that this is preemptive. America said, dealing with Iran was preemptive, mostly because Iran kept saying, hey, I'm going to tickle your balls. Or, sorry, hey, when we get a nuke, we're going to use it on you. a bit of a difference there, but once again, Israel isn't acting in preemptive, they're acting in reactive. Of course, he doesn't seem to know this. If only he did.
A homeowner's thought process. It is a constant thought in any man's head. How do I prepare for a break-in?
Right,
do
right.
you go into town and just kill everybody so nobody can have the opportunity? Because that's essentially what's happening.
No. But if someone magically walked into my neighborhood, I would hope to God that they don't come into my house, set up, operations in my house, and I can't do anything because I don't have the capacity to say no to them. Because unfortunately, once again, this is not, I'm not doing the fat American, so uncultured to the rest of the world thing. But he's looking at this through the lens of the American eye. In places like Lebanon, they don't have those same rights that we do when it comes to guns, when it comes to self-defense, when it comes to being able to own things. And quite frankly, when you don't have that, you can have gangs, you can have terrorists come in, take over your house, and what can you do? Nothing. And once they become a big enough problem, or you have people in charge, California, who aren't doing their job to get rid of it, or have let it fester long enough that they can't get rid of it, you get a situation kind of like this. So this whole argument that he's trying to make here is, well, here, let him make it again, because I've been rambling.
For a break-in. Do you go into town and just kill everybody?
No, you don't. Preferably you don't move there. But if the problem comes to you, if you can't defend yourself, you better hope whoever they're causing problems for is going to stop them. this is a stupid analogy. This is just dumb. It's a huge. Actually, I didn't think I'd have to ever use it. It is a complete, just not quite causal oversimplification, but more of a tabloid thinking. Yes, let me pull up the exact definition. Not there, not there. It's not section A, is it? Shouldn't be. Oh, it is. Also, along with a lot of the stuff he said, wishful thinking. But in this case, actually, there we go. Uh, basically, tabloid thinking for this whole thing, and let me read the definition. To think in tabloids is to oversimplify a complex theory or set of circumstances. The tabloid thinker prefers quick summaries and has the habit of, quote, putting things in a nutshell, end quote. So he's basically completely oversimplifying this. And then he's going to use a faulty analogy in order to kind of cement what he's saying. It's not accurate, though. And once again, I don't think he's dumb. I will repeat that this entire video. That being said, I do think that he's missing very key information, and by missing that information, he is very clouded in his judgment. But I will let the man cook real quick.
So nobody can have the opportunity, because that's essentially what's happening. It's
no.
Preemptive self-defense. I wouldn't even call it that. No, you take precautions on.
No. If anything, actually, if someone were to. What he's describing here is just wrong. It just is. I can word it 100 different ways. I can rant on it for another 5-ish minutes. But no, this is wrong. Now, when it comes to what happened, this would be like someone coming by and shooting into your house over and over again. And one of these times, you finally are like, hey, I'm just gonna nail him. And it turns out, he got a little bit of an oopsie daisy, he got a little bit of a concussion. So you see him walking around outside and you're like, well, he's gonna do it again. So because he's done it once, he's done it twice, he's probably gonna do it a third time. You just nail him when you can. Turns out maybe this time he wasn't gonna do it, even though he's, been acting like he's going to do it because he has a gun in his hand. So I'm perfectly okay with this. But the argument that he's making is dumb. If anything, like, it would be closer to what America did with Iran. The difference, once again, being, though, that Iran kept saying, I'm going to come over and I'm going to shoot your house. I'm going to shoot your house, little white boy. What you going to do about it? And then after, saying, I'm going to shoot you, you just blast them, because that is just a flat-out threat. Like, the argument that he's making here is, oh, why would you shoot? Ooh, whoops, my bad. The argument he's making, effectively, is, well, why would you do that? Well, he said he was going to. Over and over again. And I did it. That would be what a good homeowner would do, wouldn't it? When someone says, I'm going to shoot you, I'm going to shoot your house, I'm going to shoot your dog, I'm going to shoot your wife, I'm going to shoot your kids. I'm just saying.
On your own shit, and you're ready to fuck shit up if it comes to you. Why is it different on a world level? I'll tell you the problem, folks, and this is very simple. Needs
Not causal oversimplification. Here we go.
To grow a backbone, and he needs to put them in their place. Very simple.
There it is.
Needs to grow on a world level. I'll tell you the problem, folks, and this is very simple. Needs to grow a backbone.
Oh. Oopsie. I want to think he was saying Trump, probably.
And he needs to put them in their place. Very simple. You are not going to just go out and kill shit. We cannot support it. As a predominantly Christian American country, we are not about killing innocent people. Sure, in war, innocent.
What happened to the Amalekites? It was, oh yeah, God said kill them all. The women, the children, the livestock, especially the men, all the men. And it was King Saul who said, no, wait. That's a kid. Let that one go. And know what God did? He punished him. Basically took away his power as a prophet. Took away his title as king, and eventually Solomon came around. So this argument, oh, I'm a Christian, we can't do that. No, 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 no. It's your book you have to follow. If you're going to hide behind your religion as to why you say no, at least follow the religion properly. But that's me, no true Scotsman over here.
Innocents die, but not in these numbers. But where is that guy? Like, what do we honestly care about? This isn't even political anymore. This is simply, do you give a shit about humanity? Do you give a
Tabloid thinking.
shit about morals? Do you give a shit about being cruel or fucking fair? But we're gonna sit and do this song and dance for I don't know how long because we can't say no. We can't say, hey, look, you're just carpet bombing fucking places. You're gonna stop, or we're not gonna support you anymore. That's it. It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. And there are people out there who are like, oh no.
You need to see more shit. Like, let me tell you, there's plenty of dumber shit out there.
Oh, you just hate Israel. No, it's pretty fucking simple. It has nothing to do with.
And no, I don't think he hates Israel, but I do think he's missing very important context to this.
With hate, it has nothing to do with Israel's right to defend itself. It has nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with what is morally correct. What is the moral way to.
In the wise words of the Nuxenor, who's quoting the Bible, God says to win, to obliterate your enemies. I mean, hey, they're obliterating their enemies.
To handle business. And until somebody says, hey, look, you're going to cut this shit out, we're done with it. You're not just going to carpet bomb places. You're not going to just kill shit. You're going to have some level of modern warfare attached to your fucking brain, or we're.
Missiles are modern warfare. Like, this is well beyond the I need to send in a human to do something when I can just send a drone to do it. Like, this is so far more advanced of warfare that it's basically just back around to, like, oh, I'm going to send a pigeon with a rat on it, and it's going to infect the town and wipe out everyone, and I don't have to do anything. Like, that's basically, like, how far we've gotten. You know, fling a dead body into a town, get everyone in the town sick. You know, it is advanced warfare. And this stance that he's taking is once again kind of silly.
Done. Nobody does it. And I have a major fucking problem with the country just bombing the shit out of a humongous population of Christians. So we'll see what happens, folks.
Mind you, those Christians are likely, well, in any Muslim majority country, Christians, like 99 out of 100 times, are second-class citizens. They have to pay the fucking jizya tax. Yeah, the jizzy-ass tax. Because they'll just fuck you in the butt otherwise. And then they'll kill you because that's sodomy. Or something stupid. But the overall, I think he's just missing really important stuff here. The remainder of the video is just his outro. I think he's missing some very, very important context here. I think he is misunderstanding to a certain degree through his own shock and horror of a situation. I don't think his intentions are bad, but once again, are uninformed. I'm not saying that, oh, he can't talk about it, but I am saying once again, I would still make this if it were as wide-reaching or if it were still impactful enough. You are a very large creator. You should know what you're talking about before you just go gung-ho into something. When you are a content creator in the first place, you should at least know more about what you're talking about before you go gung-ho into anything. It just so happens that, I saw this guy first. Partially because, yes, he is a larger creator. And what the hell just went screech? That was my desk. It's probably not a good thing. But all in all, ugh. Overall, no, I said overall already. It's like midnight where I am right now. Ugh. So I need to finish this up because it is 50 minutes and 21, 22, 23 seconds. With that being said, my name is Haster. If you liked this and you managed to reach the end, congratulations, you managed to reach the end. If you didn't like this, well, congratulations, you managed to reach the end. I'm kind of surprised that you'd be here if you didn't like this. And if you want, go ahead and leave a comment, leave a like, leave a dislike. If you disliked it, go ahead and tell me why in the comments. I would be happy to know. And if you really liked it for some weird reason, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can listen to more of my ramblings. But with all that being said, my name is Haster. Later.